How's everybody doing? We want to welcome you into the Opinionated Seven Footers podcast. I'm Ryan Hollins, former 10-year NBA veteran. That's my broadcast partner right there. None other than 7-1 Brennan Haywood out of North Carolina, 14-year pro, world champion, standing 7'1", 285 pounds.
Yo, you switch my weight every week, yo. Like we're not. This isn't a weigh-in fight. Like stop it.
Hey, but we got a special pod, as I announced earlier. I want to bring in my guy, my former teammate. Yes, Brendan, I played in the league with everyone. He's a 17-year pro. Back in 2004, he's an NBA champ and finals MVP, 5-time All-Star, none other than our own big shot, Chauncey Billups.
What's up, fellas? What's good, man?
Billions, what's good with you, man? Good to have you on, man.
Man, I'm happy to be on, man, so I can hear all these opinions.
Oh, you definitely came to the right spot because we got opinions all day long. And so where are you at now? You in Denver or?
I'm in Denver, man. I'm in Denver. Yeah, when I retired, I moved back home and everything. My wife's from here, my kid. It's home, bro.
And with Denver being home now, when we hear about hoopers, a lot of time we hear about a lot of hoopers. They talking about they're from New York, or we hear hoopers from the West Coast and LA. We don't hear about a lot of guys that were as highly recruited as you from Denver. Where'd you hone your game in Denver? Where'd you learn to get that style? I remember young Chauncey with the squiggly part. Where all that going? Back when we both had some grass up top.
Oh man, I missed my grass. But it's not a lot of dudes. This is really kind of like Denver and Colorado's always been kind of like a football town. There's a couple basketball dudes that came out of here, but nothing like from like LA or where y'all dudes is from and everything. But it really was never a hotbed. So a lot of times, I just growing up, I just waited to go to the AE tournaments and this and that. That's kind of was my real season. Not like the regular season in the Denver Public School League. It was easy. It was really nothing. So I would wait, and I put all my heart and energy into, going and playing in the tournaments and ABC camps and stuff. And that's kind of where I kind of made my name at.
Hey, Chauncey, I got to throw this to you, man. I will say from playing with you, your leadership qualities are different. Like when you speak, we all listen on that Live City squad. I know how things were in Detroit, but you still command that respect on into the media. Was that an OG that taught you? Was that your pops, a high school coach? Where did those qualities get ingrained into you? Because it's different and it's synonymous through the entire league.
Yeah, you know what, Ron? I think all great leaders at one point had to be really good followers. But leaders, I think, are born. That's something that I can't take that much credit for. I mean, I looked and learned and watched. And early in my career, at the first part of my career, I really struggled, man. I was in 5 teams in 5 different years as a third pick in the draft. So I really, really got lucky when I got to Minnesota. And I was with Sam Mitchell, who taught me so much, Terrell Brandon. The dudes taught me so much. They spent a lot of time with me, man. I was like literally almost living with them dudes, man. So I just always studied a lot. I put a lot into it. And as being a guy on my team, like I put so much into it. And I was always the guy on the team that I thought for everybody, So I wasn't just thinking for me or making sure I got my little game off. Like I thought for everybody. And I think that level of investment y'all would see, you know what I mean? And then when it was time for me to kind of step up and say something, that equity was there. So that was just kind of how I was then. It's how I am now. It's just who I am.
Can you take real quick? Sorry, B. Can you take me through a moment where Sam or Terrell Brandon, a young Chauncey Billups made a mistake or a turnover or said something, out of line to a teammate, and they taught you a lesson, that tough love or whatever, but something that stuck with you. We talked to, Candace Parker a little while ago. She talked about Lisa Leslie wore out one time, in practice, after she kind of showed up later, had some words. So is there any moment like a young Chauncey was like, yo, you had to learn a lesson?
Well, it's funny. I could tell you, I remember one time in Minnesota, the game just came, it seemed like it came so easy to Terrell Brandon, right? He was so smooth and he was always a step ahead or two. And one time I remember it was in a game, bro, and he was rolling in the first. I was backing him up. I was a backup point guard. he was rolling at the time, but my locker was right next to his, so we came in at halftime, and KG wasn't playing well. And so Terrell was just sitting there tripping like, damn. Like his energy was that he was having a really bad game. And he was like, I mean, bro, I'm talking he probably had 18 and 7 at the half. But KG had like 6, and he wasn't playing well. So I'm looking at TB and I'm like, yo, what's up? What's wrong with you? What's the problem? And he was like, Chauncey, he said, when you want to be a great point guard in this league, like KG's our best player, and he said, if KG's averaging 24 and 13, whatever, if KG don't got like 14 or 15 at the half, I'm not doing my job. And I'm like, damn, like, huh? You know what I'm saying? I'm a scoring point guard. You know what I'm saying? Like it just was different. And he was like, yeah, like if he's not, he's our best player and he don't have at least half of what he's supposed to have in the first half, then I'm not doing my job. So really, you looking at that stat sheet, but I'm telling you as a floor general, I'm having a bad game. KG's forcing a couple shots. He's not getting any good, easy ones. Like I'm not creating easy opportunities for our best player. And so that mentality it was way out at the time, but it really stuck with me. And that shit was like, it was next level to me. And then I just continued to build on that. And as I watched him differently because he was getting to the basket, having opportunities, but seeing an easier opportunity for Ticket or Wally or whoever, and he was passing his opportunity up to make sure everything was running properly. So that was like an aha moment for me, and it kind of changed the way I seen the game as a point guard.
And Chauncey, obviously you're talking about playing early on in Minnesota. Hey, man, you got a young Kevin Garnett story because me and Ryan, we both work with Kevin Garnett behind the scenes. He's always on. It's not an act. Like, we'll be in the back. We talking about basketball. He's like, yeah, Brendan. And he's wild up. And I'm looking at Karan Butler like, yo, dog, he's we retired. We don't have a game tonight. Like, who let this dude 10 Red Bulls before he went on the set of Area 21? Like, do you have a story where you just looking at KG like, dog, like you want something different, or he just did something incredible? You like, yo, this dude is next level.
Hey, Chauncey, and then Grant Hill spilled the beans. He said, y'all would call your boy Lil Ticket, man, when I would go on my little KG.
Yeah, man. Hey, Billions, I need you to know that nickname has officially stuck. It is officially Ryan Little Ticket Holland.
Really?
That's Grant Hill out of me, man.
I didn't know that stuck, but yeah, I'll tell you what, man. Like, so we came, me, Ticket. I think we maybe had the best McDonald's All-American class ever in '95, but that's arguable. So anyway. I started, at that time, the Street and Smith magazine, all those things, you started to hear about all the best players. And obviously Ticket, as when he was in South Carolina, we was hearing about him. And then finally, I played against him. I forgot what tournament we was in. I played against him. And man, like that energy and that, like, he has always been like that, man. It was just unbelievable. He was so next level in how intense he was. I mean, he was talking so much shit, like, and he really wasn't talking shit to us. It was like he was talking
to himself. He always talks to himself. He talks to himself all game.
Yeah, that was his edge. Like, that was his whole thing. He had to, like, and then, I became really, really close with him, and then we played at McDonald's, so we spent that whole week together at McDonald's game, and we really kind of got closed in every day. I'm telling you, like, I've never seen anybody like him. And I played with some great, I played against the great. We all have. There's never been anybody like Kevin from a standpoint of, like, the combination of his intensity and being locked in and knowing what's coming, knowing his personnel, knowing his opponent, knowing his teammates. I've just never seen nothing like it. Dude, he's special like that.
Hey, hold on 1 second. And one more, because we're talking about Chauncey in Minnesota, but I think, man, we're skipping an important step, and we got to let our young viewers know about perseverance, because it didn't just happen in Minnesota. There was Boston, there was Orlando. Like, you were a lottery pick, a high lottery pick. What pick were you, 3 or 2?
3, yeah.
3. You were the number 3 pick. You get traded within your first year. It doesn't work out. It doesn't work out in Orlando. Like, was there ever any doubt? How did you keep yourself engaged? Because as a young player, our egos and our minds can be fragile at times.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I mean, it's almost natural to have some doubt. I mean, that's game to game sometimes, you know, if you're not careful. But, you know, I come in the third pick, and I really thought it was going to be perfect, man. Patino was coming there at the time, and if you watch Kentucky, you know what I mean, they get up and down, shoot a lot of threes, and play defense. I was all good with that. So I thought that it would be perfect, and it wasn't. And actually, I wasn't playing bad. You know, I didn't like the world on fire because most guys that are the third pick in the draft, you know, they come into a situation with no pressure. They give you the ball, and they just kind of live through your mistakes and just let you grow. Well, I didn't have that opportunity. Patino, he signed that huge deal. He was the president and the coach, and he felt he had a lot of pressure to make the playoffs. So I remember when he came in to tell me I was being traded, he was like, man, you know, I think you're going to be a really good player, Chance. We've all heard this conversation. Like, I think you're going to be a good player, but, you know, there's a lot of pressure on me this year, and I've always been a big fan. I need a veteran point guard. And coming from New York, I've always been a big fan of Kenny Anderson. So I have an opportunity to get Kenny. So, you know, I just want to wish you luck, whatever. Now, at the time, I'm happy because I really wanted to get out of there. Like, the shit, I was sitting there a few times like, damn, I wish I would stayed in college. It was so crazy.
It was that bad your rookie year?
And it was that bad, bro. And then so I was kind of happy about it, looking for a new opportunity. And then I went to Toronto. I played pretty good in Toronto. And, you know, it just happened. But I can honestly sit here and tell y'all, man, like, it wasn't like Patino or any of the coaches was hating on me. Like, I just wasn't quite ready, you know. I'm a young dude. I'm 21 years old, and I'm relied on to be the point guard of an NBA team. Now, some of those point guard ideologies that we talked about with Terrell, man, that wasn't even on my radar. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking I'm a scoring point guard. I'm thinking, wow, if I'm scoring and doing my thing and the team is doing all right, I'm doing my job. So I wasn't ready, man. I just wasn't ready. And I worked as hard as I could. I always was a hard worker. It wasn't like I was unfocused. It was none of that. I just wasn't ready. I needed time.
Hey, Chance, I'm going to throw this to you before we get to the gold. And you know the golden days, we talking about them, the bad boys. Was there a breakout game that you had in the NBA where you were like, yo, like, I could do this? Or like I kind of figured this out, like I belong in this league, or yo, like it was the easy moment. We know the Detroit days, but was there anything before that where you're going like, I got this, I just have to put it together?
Yeah, I had a few in my rookie year, actually. I looked up to dudes like Rod Strickland and Sam Cassell and Tim Hardaway, all of those dudes. So I was looking forward to playing against all those dudes. And I can remember playing against Rod one day, and I played good, man. Like, and Rod didn't play well, you know. So that was like a big confidence moment for me. And I didn't overrate it, but I wanted to. It was validation. Needless to say, we played them 2 weeks after that, and he had like 28 and 16 on it. It was crazy.
Rod had that handle back. People sleep. He was underrated.
Super under. He's one of the most underrated ever to me.
Yes.
All them finishes and the handle and
with like all the tape on the fingers. I'm like, man, you get before wrestle, man. What you about to do, man?
Swear, bro. I'm like, yo, you got some stickum on them joints or something, man. But that was a big moment for me, Ryan. And I had a lot of those. You know, I had a lot of those, and obviously, I had a lot of games where dudes got the best of me. But when you that young and you going through what I was kind of going through, you looking for them small victories like that, just to kind of prove to yourself that, you know, you do belong. You just maybe need a little more time.
And now we're going to get to those good years you're talking about. Detroit, you finally get to Detroit, you get on the right path. And did you know it was going to work and it was going to be a good fit right away? I remember playing against you guys, and this is when, for me, I knew that you had control of that team because I played with Rip my first year. And you know what does Rip do when he's open? Woo, 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 every time, right?
All day.
Dog, he came off this screen, was like, woo, woo, woo. I'll never forget it was at a free throw. You looked at him and said, dog, I see you. If you do that again, you won't get the ball for the rest of the game. And Rip didn't say anything. I thought, ooh, that's different. They got some that's a different type of leadership. Chauncey running the show because Rip back, that was young Rip. Rip would have mouthed back a little bit. So did you know off the gate that it was going to be like that? That's when I knew. When did you know?
Yeah, it was early. It was early on that I kind of knew, but it took some moments like that, you know what I mean, for us to kind of get to know each other. But Rip, as you know, Rip is open on every single play, man.
Yeah.
He wants that thing on every play, every single, and I'm just like, Rip, I mean, after I figured that out, and after there was a lot of moments in the games where he was open, but it's just not your time. You know what I'm saying? And I would tell him all the time, bro, I'm calling the play. I see you. I know when you're going to be open. I know who's guarding you. I know they can't chase. I know who's setting your screen. I know you're going to be open. But sometimes I'm calling that play so the defense can shift so Tay's trying to have an easy shot. So, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't understand that.
Ooh, that's next level. Right? So and a lot of point guards don't think like that in the game right now, Chauncey. That's next level.
I know, man. I know. I wish they did. But, it was a lot of things like that happened, man. But I did, Brennan. I'm telling you, man, like when we came together, because the team was good before I got there. Right. I just felt like they needed a point guard. Chucky Atkins was the point guard before that and had a good year, but he's a backup. And I felt like I had proved that I was a starting point guard at that time. And, man, I'm telling you, I thought we were going to be really, really good from day one. And we were good. I mean, obviously getting Sheed took us to another level. But we were really good. I knew it would be perfect, though.
Big Shot, we got to talk about this, man. You go from having Patino, who's a story coach, things didn't quite work out well. You have Rick Carlisle, he's an interesting cat, but he's a dog. He got some jewelry behind him. We can't talk about
Tricky Ricky, a different guy. He knows basketball, but he's a different guy.
We all played for him, so we know. He's the coach of the year. But Larry Brown gets you guys to the promised land. Larry Brown had he had Marbury, he had AI who kind of butted heads, and then he ends up like AI loves Larry Brown to the point of tears. Like, when I know your demeanor, and I played for Larry also. Yes, Brendan, I played a lot of different coaches, a lot of different places. Don't you say it?
Yeah, I see.
Did you and Larry butt heads, or did you come in, like, how did you earn his respect? Like, how did that deal go? Because there was so much talent there. There was everything to go wrong in Detroit, but y'all, and it had to be between you and him to work. Like, how'd that go?
Yeah.
Big Shot? No. Tell me y'all first meeting. When you first meet Larry Brown, like, or was there a practice? Like, give me that. You said the aha moment. Give me the aha moment.
Well, I'm gonna get. It wasn't our first meeting, but I'll tell you, it was crazy. We start off the season, and we got 2 or 3 games at the house, and then we go straight to the West Coast. We're going on a West Coast trip. First game, we play the Clippers. Right, this is when the Clippers weren't that good, so we play the Clippers. And I had an awesome game, though. I think I had 29, like 10 assists, 9 rebounds, 2 turnovers, and I hit the shot to win the game. This is the first, as y'all know, the first game on that road trip is a big game.
Important, absolutely.
It sets the tone. So we all like, boom, we in the tunnel, boom. I look back, Larry is walking through the tunnel, and he is shaking his head in disgust like crazy, right? So I'm like, what? What? So I go back. I walk back to him. I said, Coach, what's up, dog? You all right? He looked at me, bro, and he said, son, you have no idea how to play that position for me.
Oh, my.
Swear, this is all my kids, bro. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, Coach, what are you talking? I said, you know what? Now, I ain't even going to ask you that. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about it. But tonight, you ain't messing my night up.
That's real.
But tomorrow, we're going to talk about it. So, okay, fast forward to tomorrow. We watch film together. And so what I realized through watching film with him is, one, we all know he's really tough on point guards.
Yes.
2, he's never coached a scoring point guard. Now, keep in mind, when he got to Philly, which was AI's second year.
Yeah.
AI was the point guard. Shifted AI over, had Eric Snow, had Kevin, I had all of them.
Yeah.
He said, no, he's never coached a scoring point guard. Now, at that time in my career, I was a scoring point guard, but that wasn't the main thing on my list. As you know, I done been with Terrell. I done figured it out. He hates three-point shots, hates them. I mean, he just can't stand them. Well, that's my game.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of battles, man. But like I wanted to be so good, and I wanted to win, and he really wanted the same thing. So it was both new to us. So it took us a while, man. It really did take us a while. But I'm like AI right now. I jump off a bridge for Larry, man. And I lost a lot of sleep messing with Larry Brown.
I bet.
For real.
Hey, listen, man.
Hey, I knew it was real. I took the ball out of bounds one time in practice, and Larry just started cussing me out. That's when I realized, just shut up, dog, and deal with it. Like, Larry gonna be Larry.
Larry's different. Being coached by Rick Carlisle and Larry, man, you had two very strong coaches. But under Larry, you guys did turn into the eventual NBA champions. Walk me through that season. Y'all end up getting sheed. Like, did you guys think yo, we got this? You take on a Lakers team. That Lakers team had Karl Malone, GP along with Shaq and Kobe. Like, walk me through that season, the championship. Was there anything that just let me know, like, yo, this is all you?
Well, so the crazy thing is, so the year before we get beat, with Jersey sweeps us in the East Finals. You know, so we come back. You know, we're better this year. We learned whatever. We're together, but we get off, you know, we got a new coach in Larry, which we all know it takes a long time to get used to Larry.
Right.
So we start the season off like 16-13, trying to please Larry. You know, once I figured out that Larry, like, he likes being like dysfunctional. He loved it. Like, dysfunction on the team is good for him because that gives him an opportunity to like kind of put the pieces. Once we figured that out, and we like we became filters and not sponges, which is a sponge collects everything. Right. Filter collects what you need and let the rest go. Once we figured that out, we was gonna be all right. But it took us a while. Okay, so now we 16-13 or something right around there. And at the trade deadline, we get Sheed. And what we needed at the time, you know, somebody that can score on the block when Rip or I wasn't really rolling, or we need to slow it down. But we needed a voice on the back line. Ben Wallace was the best in the league at the time, but Ben is very quiet.
Yes.
Right? So she comes in. We have our very first practice. And, man, he's calling out plays and sets and concepts, and I'm pressing the ball at half court. I hear every single thing he's saying. Now everything changes. Now, we was already a really good defensive team, but it took us to another level, just the communication. Now everybody's talking, you know, and then, boom, we know we can throw it to him on that left block, and he's going to give us something at any time.
Right shoulder.
And for me to have a pick and pop guy, we knew the league was going to be at our mercy. So after that first practice, literally, I went home. I told my wife, I said, we're going to win the championship. She was like, dang, like that. I said, we're going to win the championship. I'm telling you. Well, we need it. We got it. And you know, we go on in the season, and, you know, we had some tough battles. I mean, the second round series with New Jersey, we won 7 games. And we ended up winning that. But that finals, man, like, we played good against them during the season. And before the season, this finals even started, I had a conversation with a couple of my people. I said, there's no way the Lakers could beat us. And that wasn't me being arrogant or cocky, but that's me knowing the game, right? I know we're going to have a problem. We can't stop Shaq. There's no way we stop him. Ben is one of the best ever. Can't stop him. We're going to have to double Kobe because we can't guard him. But we're going to do a decent job on those dudes. And we're not going to let nobody else show up and have a big night. And our 2 best things that we have, pick and rolls and pin downs, there's no way they can stop them. There's no way that they can stop them. So if we can get whatever shot we want and we're going to slow them down, there's no way they can beat us.
Hey, Big Shot, talk to me a little better. I gotta hear the intimacies of Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe at that time? Because I know you're a student of film. What did you guys see? Let's start with Shaq first, with the big fella. What was he doing on film as you guys broke that down? And there were moments where Wallace, y'all left him one-on-one down there. And it was like, Shaq to me at that time, he didn't really have, but what did y'all see on, because you're breaking it down. I know, Larry will gas somebody. He'll gas somebody, he'll talk crazy. What were y'all saying in that locker room? What'd you break down? Or was there a moment where you're like, hey, the big fella's frustrated. I need it all, Big Shaq.
Well, I'm a mental guy. So we was going to play into the whole Shaq and Kobe thing the whole time, which is why we played Shaq head up and we doubled Kobe. And you ask yourself, why would we do that? Well, Shaq had 3 finals MVPs. Kobe didn't have any. Kobe won that finals MVP.
Yes, sir.
So they got a little something going on, and we playing Shaq head up knowing he going to get his numbers. Now, what do you think that's doing to Kobe's mental? He sees Shaq getting his numbers, we doubling him, trying to hold him down. He going to get a little frustrated and start pressing, right?
Right.
So that was one thing. The other thing was we knew we're going to play him Shaq head up, but we had a lot of bodies to throw at him. So, okay, Ben, you pick up 2, boom, we're going to put Sheed. Sheed, you pick up 2, we bring Elton Campbell in. Boom, Elton, you pick up 2, we bringing in Mehmet Okur. So, but we going to let Shaq boogie, but you know what we going to do? I'm putting big fella in them pick and rolls every time, Dan. And
you don't want to go at that.
When I call Rips play, go off of Shaq's side. Like, we're going to put a lot of pressure on Shaq on the other end. So at some point, big boy he gonna wear down a little bit. But in all that, we knew Kobe was going to be a little bit frustrated. You know what I'm saying? So we playing the physical game, the mental game. Like, we there was no way they could beat us, man.
And listen, that definitely had to be a good time. I've won the championship. I know how that feels. You've won one. Ryan, dang, well, you never really. It's okay. You a champion in somebody's eyes. But now, you guys were the one thing when I saw you guys on the court, you guys were a close-knit unit, man. Like, if y'all barked at each other, it wasn't long, or like you understood guys' mentality. Like, I remember one time you're like, oh, Brendan, I ain't worried about she tonight. You a Carolina guy. I know she gonna come out and try to work you, which he did. And so like, you understood your team, and tell me what it's like to go from having that understanding, and now you got to go somewhere else. You got to take your talents to go play in Denver. What was that like? Because you're going back home, but you're leaving your guys.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. One, I never wanted to leave Detroit. I never thought I would. I never wanted to, but it happened. The business happens and stuff. But the rapport, like you said, the rapport that I had with the guys, it was like none. It was like none other. However, I know going wherever I'm gonna go, I'm gonna develop that again. It just takes time. So I go to Denver. I remember my first practice in Denver. They make the trade. We have a day in between, and then we're going to play Dallas the next day. So that day, that one little day of practice, you just trying to get the play calls and whatever. Now, it was there was 2 guys that didn't practice. It was 2 other guys that they just – 2 guys was hurt. 2 other guys was just like, nah, I don't feel it today. Other dudes on the court.
Hold up, somebody just said, I don't feel it today?
Bro, 2 people.
Man, what type of – hey, man, what y'all got going on out there?
Yo,
I don't feel it today.
Brendan, it was the craziest thing ever. A couple dudes got their jewelry, a necklace on. They got earrings. One dude ain't have his shoes tied. So Denver at the time.
That was George Carl, right? George Carl was the coach, right? Man, what George doing out there, man?
Yo, so you're going from Larry Brown to dysfunction
in one day. So my whole thing was, I mean, and at that time, I forgot who our coach was in Detroit, so it wasn't really Larry, but I'm used to a regimen, a discipline, you know what I mean? And so I go there, and in that first day of practice, bro, I'm sitting there like, okay, I see why we got all this talent. They got Nene, Kenyon, JR, Melo, obviously. They got so much talent, Birdman, everybody. And they've won 1 playoff game each time they've been to the playoffs for 8 years. Never won more than 2 playoff games in a series, never. But all this talent. And so I'm saying, damn, I got my work cut out for me, boy. But it was a great challenge, man, and it really was awesome. So we're going through all these plays. Speaking of George Carl, it was so funny. We're going through all these plays, and I get home now. I'm doing my homework. I'm thinking about it, boom, and I'm also thinking about we playing Dallas. Who they got? Okay, J Kid, JT, boom, boom. I'm thinking I'm doing all this. So I'm in my head. I'm like, damn, you know what? We ain't never go over underneath out of bounds play.
Right.
So I hit Kmart. I'm like, yo, bro, what when the ball go out underneath, what do y'all run? Because everybody run a lot of the same. He was like, oh shit, we don't got no play.
What? They don't got no out-of-bounds.
So I'm thinking, Kmart's my man. So I'm thinking, yeah, he tripping, man. He trying to set me up, whatever. He on some bull, you know what I mean? Whatever. I get to shoot around the next day. Okay, and then you talk about how you know this story is going to. This is how you players start to see my investment and like how you start to lead. Okay, so we get to shoot around the next day. We going through the stuff, and I say, yo, George, underneath out of bounds, what we got? And George was like, oh shit, somebody take it out and somebody get open.
That's the play? He just sandlotting that thing? Come on, George Carl. He a OC guy, man, but I got to call him out. That's awful.
And his rationale behind it was, well, shit, I figure if we don't know what we're doing, they can't scout it. I said, okay, so, George, you've been here, 7-8 years? Y'all have never had a play underneath out of bounds? No. Boom. So fast forward, we in the game. We playing this Dallas that night. This is a big game, you know what I'm saying? This is my first game. Boom, I'm hyped, whatever. The ball goes out underneath, out of bounds. We're up 1. It's about 14 seconds left on the clock. I call a timeout. Everybody's looking at me like, damn. Players don't really be calling timeouts unless it's like you bottled up. You know what I'm saying? We get over there. I grab the clipboard from the assistant coach. I said, here you go, George. Draw me up a play. Get the ball in. Because I'm not about to turn this ball over and we lose the game because we can't get the ball in bounds. Draw me up something I can go to. George is sitting back. The coaches is bugging. Everybody's just like, damn. I'm dead serious, though. I ain't about – come on. I don't play like that. So he draws up a play. We get the ball in. Boom, they foul, free throw game. We end up winning the game. But in the locker room, you know what I'm saying, everybody was just kind of sitting back like, okay, this is different. Yeah. Nobody ever. This is different. You know what I'm saying?
Players know when real leadership comes in. You ain't got to say it. It's just understood.
Yeah, and I wasn't like doing it to I wasn't taking a jab at George or none of that. Like, he's obviously one of the great coach. You know, he had a great run, but that wasn't it, bro. I can't. If we got a chance to win a big game, we got to win that game, bro. We can't lose the game because we not prepared. I just wasn't with that.
Chauncey, I got to admit, dog, and we talked about this. You know, you were always the big brother in the gym, so I leaned on you. I remember playing pickup ball as a young boy with you, KG, and y'all brought the Impact basketball squad in there and start running things. And I remember sore moments, but you guys knocked us out the playoffs. Okay, y'all knocked us out. And we talked about it was like it was organized chaos, you know, because you had so much talent of a young Carmelo, J.R. Smith, like Nene came there was so much talent. And after you guys beat us, I'm still salty about it, but I understand it. And I remember how you were picking out our wings. You was picking out whoever Melo, tried to go. You knew we had no wing defenders. Y'all was going right at us.
Right.
The next round, we see one of the most epic matchups ever. And some people forget about it. Talk to me about Kobe and Carmelo. We see Skinny Melo is back, but talk to me about Kobe and Carmelo. And these dudes were scrapping, it was epic. And I'm on a side note, did you feel like if you guys win that series, Carmelo's looked at his whole trajectory of career changes? You know, he's still a Hall of Famer, he's still cold, but what would that have done for Carmelo? Because that was the deepest he's gone. And hold on to this shot in a little bit. Y'all was supposed to draft Carmelo. I need it all, dog.
That's a whole nother story and podcast. But that year, when we beat y'all in Dallas, that was a big for us because you know, y'all had a hell of a squad, but we ended up winning that series. Okay, now we go to the Lakers. And the irony of it is, seriously, I feel like we should have beat them. We lose in 6. Melo and Cole had a hell of a bump. I mean, they got after it. Cole did his thing, obviously. I mean, he's one of the greats to ever lace him up. But Melo was really engaged. He was defending really hard. Like, Melo had a great series on both ends of the floor, in my opinion, in that series. But the irony of all of this is we lose 2 games in that series because we couldn't get the fucking ball in bounds from side out of bounds.
Stop playing. He ain't had no side out of bounds.
No. We had.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, man.
No, we had a few side out of bounds, but just a few bad decisions. You know what I'm saying? He got Anthony Carter taking the ball out. I'm like, nah. Why would we put AC 6'1"? They got Lamar Odom shot up like even if he's our best passer, he can't see the like whatever. But 2 games. We can't get the ball in. Trevor stole 1 pass. Boom, we got to foul him. We can't get the ball in bounds, but it's those little detailed things that we talking about. But I say that to say I feel like we was good enough to win that series. If we do win that series, we're going to play Orlando in the finals. We're going to cook them.
Yes. We're
going to cook them. And I'm telling you right now, Carmelo will be looked at as a real superstar. Because his game, he got a superstar game, but his reputation is not quite like that because he hasn't won it all like D-Wade and LeBron. If he wins that series against the Lakers,
totally different.
We're going to win it in the finals, and he's going to be finals MVP. And it's a total different perception for Carmelo for the rest of his life.
Yeah, that championship would have did for Carmelo what it did for Dirk in Dallas. He became a different player. Like, you never mentioned Dirk with Charles Barkley until he won a championship. And now it's like, well, is it Dirk or is it Charles Barkley? It might be Dirk.
Correct.
So I definitely see that. But you hinted at something. I'm going to jump back into it. Talked about Carmelo Anthony and that you guys could have drafted him in Detroit. Then you get a fast forward. You get a chance to see him up close and personal in Denver. Are you shaking your head some days watching him cook like, you telling me we passed this dude up for Darko? No disrespect to Darko. Like, he's just not Carmelo. He's not close.
Bro, I'm telling you, man, I think the history, the current history of the NBA could be totally different. If we draft Carmelo, right, you got to think about several things. One, we win at least probably 3 championships. Everybody's like, well, he coming off the bench, boom, boom. We had Tayshaun. Tay didn't care if he came off or started.
Exactly.
That was not an issue. That was a non-issue. Now, the thing that I think about, because we had all the pieces, I mean, obviously we had everything, we had all the pieces. The thing I think about is, when was LeBron going to be able to be the dude?
Right.
Same division. Ooh. I don't know when they would have ever been able to beat us. Carmelo would have had a championship and been probably all-star, all of that stuff. Like when was LeBron's greatness going to surpass us at that point if we had drafted Melo? That's what I think about. You know what I'm saying? So history could be totally different, man.
Well, Big Shot, let me dive into it, because you don't draft Carmelo, and I play with Darko. Darko's talent, if everybody questions, Darko in the draft, if you see a guy 7'1", big body, soft touch, use both hands, I understand it from the workout. Darko just didn't love basketball the same way. But history has shown LeBron James has one of those. I don't think he became the king then. He became the king when he put hands on us with the Celtics. We don't need to talk about that. But he had that LeBron moment where he goes off, big shot. What were y'all calling to stop him? Like what? Like intimate? Like walk me through. Like I gotta know, dog. In the game, like I remember y'all had Maxell on him. Y'all had Tay on. Like what was going on? And like walk me through it.
Hey, they just showed that game the other day too. I watched it. It was crazy.
That was crazy. I think that was that moment, man. Like we tried it all. We tried it all. We double teamed them. We zoned. We did everything. We put a small guy on him. I'm like, let me pressure him. We put Tay, we put a long. We tried it all. We doubled him at half court, tried to get the ball out of his hands. When we gave it up, got it back. I mean, I just feel like that was the moment in LeBron's career where he proved to himself, like, there's no, I'm the best. I'm the best. Nobody can stop me. I mean, that game, I really feel that way. Now, we were a different team. That we didn't have Ben Wallace on to cover the back line and guard the paint. We didn't have that. Unfortunately, Ben had left and went to Chicago at that time. But I just feel like that was the moment that Bron proved to himself. You talk about we all had that moment, that validation, that boom. Like, I thought that was his moment, and like you said, and he had big moments against Boston too. But before that, bro, that moment right there, that was sick, man. Like, I'm sitting there and we trying it all. I try to foul him hard, try to slam. We tried everything. There was nothing that we could do, man. It was a beautiful. It was a good game to be in. Unfortunately, I'm on the other side of history on that one, but man, it was a beautiful performance. All you could do is give him his flowers on that one.
Yeah. And you talked about Melo and how that would have changed the history of LeBron. But then again, you guys played in Denver, and then Melo obviously wants to trade. Me personally, I thought he should have just waited and walked to New York. I think it would have been a lot better for him, left a lot more pieces. Yeah. But when you had to uproot and go with them to New York, what was that like? Were you kind of upset, like, dog, I'm back home. You got me in here because you don't want to be traded, like, or were you just like, yo, it's part of the business, let's roll?
Well, I wasn't happy to leave Denver. I didn't want to leave Detroit, and then now I come home. I bring my family home. Everybody's straight, reset. Of course, I didn't want to uproot and go to New York, and then knew it was going to be a short time for me to be there.
Right.
But that wasn't his responsibility to be thinking about what Chauncey wanted. Melo wanted to go to New York, be in a bigger market. That was all him. I just kind of got caught up in the web. You know what I mean? And as we know, that's just kind of how the game works. But even with that, you could go to New York. I felt like they gave up way too much to get Melo. But if they had, like you said, if he would have just walked there, now you don't go. You go there with all that talent around you. Now you got a chance to do something, because I personally felt like, Melo had it pretty easy in Denver. Like, when he scored, like, Denver's a football town. It's the Bronco town. You know what I mean? So when Melo scored his 35 and the team lost, all you ever heard was like, man, he needs more help. And you go to New York and you score 35 and the team loses, and you shot a lot of shots. Like, those people know basketball. You know what I'm saying? They're going to call out all kind of different things on you. So, he left a comfortable situation, which I understood it. But if he would have actually won in New York,
man,
I mean, he would have been a bigger superstar than he could ever imagine.
Chauncey, let's fast forward to the NBA now, man. Obviously, you always had that big brother role. I remember, like I said, I appreciate you to always pull me to the side, and we have talks. But you worked out with Kawhi. You took Kawhi in the gym. I'm sure went over stuff. And Kawhi is one of the most, close to the vest, tight superstars that we maybe have ever seen ever. Even Tim Duncan got personality compared to Kawhi. Did you see last year coming for Kawhi? Like literally, did that? Like, I can't remember a player coming off of essentially missing the whole season prior and leading his team through the playoffs and into the champ. I mean, his numbers compared to Kobe, Hakeem, like, did that surprise you?
When I worked out with Kawhi, it was like kind of before the draft, and I didn't see this Kawhi when I worked him out. You know what I mean? I seen a guy, I'm like, man, he's gonna be really good, this and that. I didn't see great. I seen really good. Obviously, he took it to another level. Now, watching him in San Antonio as he progressed, I wasn't surprised at what he did in Toronto, after you started watching and see what he's doing to people. But that dude is a machine, man. Like, he's a machine. He's so focused. Agile. You can't speed him up. You can't make him take a shot he don't want to take. Like, anybody that you could say that about and he can stop your best player, you got a problem.
And Chauncey, we've been throwing this question out to our last couple of guests, and we got some interesting answers. So I figured I'd throw it out to you. We all know the tough guys to guard. Like, oh, man, Kobe's a tough guard. Or, man, Allen Iverson's a tough guard. But who's somebody that was kind of under the radar? I know for me, like, man, remember Al Jefferson when he played in Utah? Dog, he came to Dallas that first year when he developed his 15-foot jumper and no one really knew it was coming. I'm talking about he hooked me up to a Ford F-150 and drove me all around the American Airlines Arena, right? Nothing I could do with him that night.
Yeah.
Somebody that wouldn't jump out in people's mind. You're like, dog, this dude gave me the business and I did not see it coming.
Yeah. I mean, all the great players did, but I mean, I can't say it's nobody that nobody seen coming, but I think like Steph Marbury don't get the credit that he deserves.
Yes.
He was tough. He was really, really tough for me to guard, man. I mean, he was explosive, he was fast, he was quick, he was strong. He don't get the credit that he deserves, in my opinion. As somebody that had to guard him since high school, pretty much middle school, actually. But yeah, Steph is one of those guys. The guy you play with, Gilbert, man. Gilbert was really tough to guard, man. He was just so fast. He shoot it from so deep. Like he was a nightmare. He was a nightmare to guard. But like Sam Cassell, like I thought like Sam, I'm like, this dude, I'm faster than this dude. I'm stronger than this dude. I'm like, I'm everything. Couldn't stop him. I went for his pump fake every.
Oh, that mid-range pump fake, man.
I couldn't stop him. So like, it's just so many different guys, man, that like are just so damn good, man.
Chauncey, I just want to throw this in. I know we want to get you out of here, man. Am I mistaken? You're the only player in history that has a winning record against Mike, Kobe, and Bron. Am I saying this wrong? You're the only is that a thing, Big Shot?
You are not mistaken. You are not mistaken, Ryan.
Hey man, we're not counting Mike's Wizards years, Chauncey. Come on now.
Man, I'm counting any time they throw that ball up. I'm counting that. I'm counting that for sure. But I didn't even know that until that stat. It just started running around like the stat came out probably a month or so, 2 months. I don't know. But I never knew that. So I've never been a stat dude like that. But that is a hell of a stat, though.
Hey, Chauncey, throughout this interview, you've talked to me about how you view the game. And I think it's so interesting because you're talking about, hey, I'm running a play over here to get this guy open over here. Or you're talking about Terrell Brandon getting his own numbers and thinking, well, Tickett's not having a good game. We play through Ticket. We need him to get off. And the mindset of the point guard today is so different. It's like mid pick and roll, go, get mine. Like Chris Paul's and Chauncey Billups and John Stockton's, those guys don't really exist anymore. It's a different breed. Do you look at that like you kind of want it to be more old school? Or do you kind of sit back and think, man, I wish I'd have been in this era. They would have appreciated me even more.
Yeah, it would have been a lot more easier for me in this era. Just shoot as many threes as you want and run up and down and pick and roll and keep the ball. I mean, that would have been crazy. But, I'm not crazy about it, to be honest with you. But it's not these guys' fault, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, the coaches and the game is just totally different. They don't hold them accountable. Like, if I turn that thing over 2 times in a row, I'm going to have to watch the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't care about that no more. So it's not actually the players' fault. The system just kind of changed a little bit, and the coaches, they want to play fast. When you play fast, obviously you get sped up. You're gonna turn over a little bit. Like they don't. It's just the game is just different, Brennan. And I think that if you can put a little bit of the mental game in with that, it's gonna be lights out. And there's a few players that kind of can do that and that play like that, and those are the elite players in the league today that actually think about the game while they're playing it, and not after the play happened, before the play happens. So it's not their fault, man. But it just kind of is what it is.
All right, Big Shot, man. This is our fun segment of the day. We always like to end on this. This is gold, man. And we always talk about our favorite club story or lounge story or that, oh my goodness moment.
Anything outside of basketball where you might have met or seen somebody that was a star that you were in awe. Like, I know for me, I grew up a big Locks fan. Loved Kiss. Jadakiss was my guy. Julius Peppers, we played together since we were on the same AAU team. So his birthday party, the Locks are performing at the club. We're on stage with the Locks. I feel like I'm the 4th member of the group. Like, She was a model for a year and a half. I felt like I was up on the stage. I was rapping like I was with them. Did you have a moment where, whether it was in a club, lounge, mall, where you seen somebody's like, yo, that's so-and-so?
I can remember when I was in Minnesota, bro. I'm in the club with Ticket. We chilling. And Prince comes in.
Prince! I told you!
Prince comes in, man. And we in the little VIP section. Prince comes in, and he's a big basketball guy. Love basketball. He was a big-time player in high school in Minneapolis.
Game blouses.
So Prince comes into the VIP. He got a security and stuff with him. Ticket and I are sitting right here. Prince sits Indian style in front of us.
What? What grown man is sitting Indian style in general? Like Indian style?
On the floor, Indian style in front of us, and we're just like, we just chopping it up. We just having like, it's like, it would be no different if he was sitting in a chair. We just chopping it up. He's sitting Indian style in front of me and Ticket in the club, and I still can't believe it.
Yo, what was he wearing? What was he wearing, yo? I know he ain't white teed up. What was he wearing?
Nah, he was low. He was just had on like all black. He was just kind of chilling. He was low, but first of all, I'm surprised. Why is Prince coming to this club?
Right.
You know what? This is crazy. So the fact that him being in there was crazy, and for him to be sitting Indian style right down in front of us, it blew my mind, man.
Yo, hold on. What did he ask y'all about? Like, did he really know the game? Like, what was he? Just give me a little bit on that.
Well, you already know what that is. Like, anytime as y'all know, hoopers, if I'm talking to a rap star or music star, I want to know all the inside stuff with music stuff. They want to know all the inside stuff with basketball. So we just kind of going tit for tat. I'm talking about music, this and that. He talking about basketball. What about this player, that player? So we was just kind of going. We was just scrimmaging.
All right, that's deep right there. Hanging with Prince.
Hey, Chuck, we really appreciate your time, man, and we appreciate you looking out. But how can we look out for you? Where can we find you? You got any foundations you're helping with? Any causes we can get behind? We definitely want to spread love and spread the message, man. Whatever you guys got going. I know your girls are doing amazing, man. So where can we support and shout out? Well,
man, I mean, shoot, I'm not really a big social media dude like that. Even though I do it a little bit. My Instagram is at one Mr. Big Shot. I got my Leadership Academy that's doing really good. It's porter-billups.org, my Leadership Academy. But more than important than any of that stuff, man, I'm proud of y'all dudes, man. Y'all doing a good job. I know how tough it is, like when you retire and trying to find your way. Yeah. Y'all dudes are doing an awesome job, man. And
appreciate the love, man.
Appreciate
it. Keep it up, man, for real.
Appreciate it, Chauncey, man. Thanks for having us, man. And excuse me, we appreciate having you, Chauncey, man. Great stuff there.
Yes, indeed. Shout out to Opinionated 7-footers, Big Brendan, Big Ryan, my boys. I'm happy y'all ain't hacking me on the court no more, man. I'm proud of y'all dudes, man. Y'all keep it going. Everybody follow. Everybody come and watch it. They're going to give you some game.
We so opinionated, 7-footers who made it, block shots, dunked on some of the greatest. P-Town and Carolina in touch with the latest. Posting up on the topics, ain't no way you can stop this. Hollins and Haywood, post off the pivot, living life to live it. Tire suits are fitted, cash up, mash up, now we hook, skidding. Stadium to the set, we the littest. And the biggest.